All right, welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at something pretty meaty.
Yeah,
It's the CDU CSU's platform for the 2025 German federal elections.
they won.
Yeah, we've got the program right here,
Big progress.
officially titled Union BTW 2025 Wahlprogramm-CDU-CSU.pdf.
Catchy.
I know. It doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, but hey, we'll break it all down for you. Don't
Okay.
worry. It's a long document, but
Wow.
like I said, we've sifted through it, so you don't have to. We're gonna try to uncover their plans for everything. We're talking economy, energy, social programs, migration,
The whole 9 yards.
the whole nine
Yeah.
yards. Even their stance on things like esports.
Oh yeah, don't forget esports.
Esports. What's their stance on esports?
Well, that's for us to find out.
Right. We'll discover what they mean by a new agenda for the hardworking population and their plan for a Germany we can all be proud of again.
Big promises.
Big promises, right?
A lot to unpack.
So let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
Okay, so to kick things off, let's talk about this agenda for the diligent.
Okay.
It sounds very, I don't know, almost like they're going for a certain type of voter, Somebody who feels like hard work isn't maybe being rewarded the way it used to be.
I think you're spot on. I mean, they're definitely playing to that sentiment. They're promising to make Germany an economic powerhouse again. How are they going to do it? Tax cuts, reducing bureaucracy.
Classics.
Classic, right?
So what does that look like specifically?
Well, for example, they want to slash the corporate tax burden to 25%.
25%.
That's a pretty significant reduction.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
It is.
Okay, what about the Soli tax? I've been hearing a lot about that.
The Soli. Yeah, they want to get rid of that completely. Gone. They argue that by doing this, by cutting these taxes, it'll boost investment, create jobs, and lead to higher wages for everyone.
Okay, so less money for the government, more money in people's pockets. That's the idea.
That's the basic idea, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not just about tax cuts. They also recognize that Germany has a growing labor shortage.
Right.
So they want to attract skilled workers from abroad.
Makes sense.
And to do that, they're proposing something pretty interesting, a digital work and stay agency.
Ooh, a digital agency. What is that?
So imagine this. You want to come to Germany, you're a skilled worker.
Right.
This agency handles everything.
Okay.
Recruitment, job placement, visa applications, residency permits, all online.
So no more like going from office to office to office and filling
Definitely,
out
yes.
paperwork.
No more mountains of paperwork.
Okay, so they're trying to streamline the process
Exactly. Make it more appealing.
to make a Germany more attractive.
Yeah.
Okay. So leaner, more competitive economy. Got it. But what about the environment? I mean, climate change is a pretty big deal these days. What's their plan there?
Well, they're actually quite critical of the current government's energy policies. They call them ideology-driven, especially their push for renewable energy.
Okay, so they want to go in a different direction.
Yeah, they want to focus on what they call a market-based solution to climate change.
Market-based. Okay, so less government intervention, more letting the market sort things out.
Exactly.
Okay.
And one specific thing they're really critical of is that heating law.
Oh, the heating law. Yeah.
Yeah, they say it's too bureaucratic, it burdens homeowners. Instead, they want to focus on emissions trading.
Okay, so remind me how emissions trading works again.
So basically, companies buy and sell permits to pollute. And the idea is this,
Okay.
that it incentivizes them to reduce emissions.
Right.
Because if they pollute less, they can sell their permits.
They can make money.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's a market-driven approach.
Interesting. So a pretty big shift from what's happening now.
Yeah, definitely a different approach.
Okay. All right. So we talked about the economy. We talked about the environment. What about people who need help? People who rely on social safety nets. What are their plans there?
Well, they're calling for a pretty big overhaul of the current system. They think it's unsustainable,
Okay.
and they also think it's prone to abuse.
Okay.
So they're proposing to replace the Burger Geld.
Burger Guild. And that's the basic income.
It's a type of basic income, yeah.
Okay.
They want to replace that with something they're calling new basic security.
New basic security. Does that mean less support for people?
Well, it's not necessarily about less support. It's more about shifting the focus. They're emphasizing this principle of fördern and fordern.
Okay. Break that down for me.
It means It means promote and demand.
Promote and demand.
So you provide support for those who need it,
Okay.
but you also expect them to work towards self-sufficiency.
Okay.
So they want to tighten eligibility for social benefits, increase scrutiny of assets.
To make sure people aren't taking advantage.
Exactly. Prevent abuse.
Okay. So a more stringent approach to welfare.
Yeah, with a strong emphasis on personal responsibility.
Got it. Okay, so we've covered the economy, the environment, and social programs. Now let's move on to another big one. Migration.
Big one. Yeah,
This has been a hot topic
it has been.
in Germany and really all around the world. What are they saying?
They're calling for a fundamental turnaround. They want to significantly reduce the number of people coming to Germany,
Okay, so fewer people coming in,
both legally and illegally.
both legally and illegally.
Yeah,
Okay, so a much stricter approach than what we see now.
absolutely. Their main objective is to stop illegal migration
Okay.
and limit humanitarian intake to what they believe Germany can manage.
Oh,
And to drive this point home, they're even proposing to change social benefits for those awaiting deportation
right.
to the bare minimum allowed by courts.
Yeah, I remember that phrase. They said bed, bread, and soap.
Yeah, bed, bread, and soap. It sends a very clear message.
Yeah.
This is not a place to come for a better life if you don't follow the rules.
Right. What about asylum seekers? People fleeing war and persecution. What happens to them?
Well, they want to move the entire asylum process outside of Europe.
Outside of Europe. So they wouldn't even be processed in Germany.
No, they would be processed in safe third countries.
Wow.
And the argument is that this will deter people from making these dangerous journeys, and it'll also help to crack down on human trafficking.
Okay, so processing asylum applications in other countries, that's pretty controversial, right?
Very controversial.
Raises a lot of
A
questions.
lot of questions.
Okay, so a hard line on migration, both legal and illegal.
Yeah, it's a key takeaway for sure.
They really want to regain control of Germany's borders. Okay, well, they've given us a lot to think about already.
We've only just scratched the surface.
We've only just scratched the surface. We'll be back in part 2 of this deep dive to explore some other aspects of the CDU-CSU platform, including their vision for Germany's role in the world and their approach to culture and social values.
Stay tuned. There's much more to come.
Welcome back. We just dug into some pretty heavy stuff with the CDU-CSU platform. The economy, environment, social programs, migration.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground.
But they're not done yet.
No, not even close.
There are a lot more ideas about how to shape Germany's future in other areas.
Right. They're really emphasizing innovation.
Okay.
And they're talking about creating a Gründerschutzzone. So that translates to like a founder protection zone.
Founder protection zone. Okay, what does that mean?
Well, basically, it's about making it easier for startups to get off the ground. Less bureaucracy,
Okay.
simplifying regulations.
During the initial phase.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a nurturing environment for new businesses.
Okay, so less red tape, more support for people with innovative ideas.
Exactly. Foster a more entrepreneurial spirit. Attract the next generation of innovators.
Okay, and it's not just about startups either.
No, they're also talking about Germany becoming a global leader in Zukunftstechnology, future technology.
Future technologies. That's pretty broad. What kind of technologies are we talking about here?
Everything. Aerospace, quantum computing, artificial intelligence, cloud applications.
A whole shebang.
The whole shebang. They even want a new, ambitious space strategy for Germany.
Wow. Okay, that's a pretty big leap.
It is. It's like they want to put Germany at the forefront of this whole technological revolution.
And they're also talking about shifting from a Datenschutzpolitik, a data protection policy,
Yes.
to a Datenchancen-Politik, a data opportunity policy.
That's interesting, yeah.
So it sounds like maybe they're changing their thinking a little bit about data?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they still emphasize privacy is important.
Right.
But they also see data as this, driver of innovation and economic growth.
It's like, let's not just focus on protecting data, but let's figure out how to use it responsibly to benefit society.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting shift. Okay, so innovation's a big theme. But we also talked about, their plans to change the social safety net. What about specific measures for people who are already struggling? I know they mentioned an active rente, an active pension.
Yes, this is designed to encourage people to work longer.
Past the traditional retirement age?
Exactly.
Okay.
So instead of retiring at 65,
Right.
you can keep working and you'd receive a portion of your salary tax-free.
So you get a bonus for working longer?
Up to 2,000 euros per month.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty nice incentive.
Yeah. Stay active in the workforce.
Makes sense with, an aging population.
Yeah, you need those experienced workers.
But they're also talking about a frühstart Rente, an early start pension. Isn't that kind of a contradiction?
It seems like it, right?
Yeah.
But actually, it's about addressing two different challenges. The active rente, that's about keeping experienced workers engaged.
Okay.
But the frühstart rente is for encouraging young people
Got
that start saving.
Earlier.
Yeah, earlier. Yeah,
Okay, so it's a two-pronged approach.
exactly.
Okay.
And for the frühstart rente, the way they want to do it is interesting.
Okay.
The state would put in 10 euros every month into a savings account for every child
For every child.
between 6 and 18.
Wow, so they're really starting young.
Yeah, even before they start working,
That's forward thinking.
instilling a savings mentality.
Yeah.
Get a head start.
Okay, so a pretty comprehensive approach to retirement planning.
Yeah, they're thinking about it.
Okay, now let's talk about agriculture.
Right.
Germany's got a long tradition of farming, but the agricultural sector is facing a lot of challenges these days.
Definitely.
What are their plans for farming?
Well, they want to ease the burden on farmers. They think there are too many regulations.
Too much red tape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're proposing tax breaks, like reinstating the full agricultural diesel fuel rebate,
Okay,
exempting biofuels from energy taxes.
so less taxes.
Less taxes.
Or support.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're also critical of certain EU policies, like the Common Agricultural Policy, the 2T
Right, the CPIP, yeah.
Yeah, they want to see that simplified. More farmer-friendly.
It sounds like they're trying to strike a balance
Yeah.
between supporting farmers and also dealing with these environmental concerns.
Exactly. They talk about promoting innovation in agriculture, encouraging the use of technology, supporting sustainable farming practices,
Okay.
but they're very clear that they don't support forced land set-asides.
So farmers should have more freedom to decide how to manage their land.
That's what they think, yeah.
Okay, so a mix of support for farmers and a push for more innovation and sustainability.
Yeah, that's the...
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Now let's talk about security. We talked about their Zeitenwende concept for foreign policy.
Right, the turning point.
But what about security within Germany itself? How do they plan to, address crime, keep people safe?
Well, they're definitely taking a tough stance on law and order. They want more police. They want to expand video surveillance in public spaces and even implement automated facial recognition systems.
Facial recognition. That's getting pretty high tech.
It is.
But doesn't that raise concerns about privacy?
It definitely does.
Yeah, there's a balance there, right?
There is.
Okay, what else are they proposing?
They want stronger law enforcement powers,
Yeah.
like being able to store IP addresses
Okay.
for a minimum period to help combat serious crimes, especially online.
Okay.
And they want to really up their game against cybercrime, strengthen cybersecurity infrastructure.
So a more proactive, technologically driven approach to law enforcement.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Okay. Now let's talk about culture and social values.
Right.
We touched on Leitkultur, or leading culture.
Right.
Can we unpack that a bit more? What does that mean?
This has been debated in Germany for a long time. But basically, the CDU, CSU is saying these are the values and traditions that are central to German identity.
Okay.
They want people to adapt to these values and norms.
So a strong sense of national identity.
Yes.
And a clear expectation that immigrants will assimilate.
That's a big part of their message, yeah. And they don't like what they see as this excessive political correctness,
Okay.
especially when it comes to language. They want to avoid gendered swaying, which is the compulsory use of gendered language.
Yeah.
They want clear, natural German...
So traditional values
Yeah.
and a pushback against what they see as this linguistic engineering.
You could put it that way. They're also worried about foreign influence on Islam in Germany.
Okay.
They want more transparency in mosque financing.
So promoting religious freedom, but with a strong focus on national identity and cultural integration.
Yeah, it's a theme that runs throughout their platform.
Got it. Okay, let's talk about healthcare.
Okay.
What are their priorities there?
They want high-quality health care for everyone, accessible.
Of course.
But they're also worried about the rising costs.
Yeah, healthcare is expensive.
Yeah, and is this system sustainable long-term?
That's a question a lot of countries are asking.
It is.
Okay, so what are they proposing to do about it?
Well, a number of things. Strengthen primary care.
Okay.
Promote digital health solutions.
Telemedicine and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And they want to make the pharmaceutical industry more competitive to lower drug prices.
Okay, so kind of a mix of traditional approaches and embracing new technologies.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also really big on preventative care,
Okay.
health education, encouraging people to take responsibility for their own health.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
But they also have they're advocating for geschlechtsspezifische medicine,
And that one's
gender-specific medicine.
gender-specific medicine. Okay.
It's interesting. They're recognizing that there are often big differences between men and women.
Biologically.
Yeah,
And how they experience illness.
exactly.
Okay, so tailoring health care to the needs of each gender.
Precisely.
Interesting.
They think it leads to a better diagnosis, better treatment,
Mm-hmm.
better prevention. And they're especially concerned about women's health because they say there are still a lot of inequalities there.
Mm-hmm. So addressing gender disparities.
Yeah, they want more research, better prevention programs,
Mm-hmm.
better access to health care.
Okay, so healthcare is pretty comprehensive,
It is.
from prevention to treatment,
Mm-hmm.
and with a focus on personalized care and addressing gender disparities.
Yeah, a lot going on there.
Okay, now for something a little lighter. Sports.
All right, sports. Big fans of sports.
Big fans. They love sports for, the health benefits and building social cohesion.
Okay, and they want to invest more in sports infrastructure?
Yeah, all levels, local clubs to national teams.
Okay, so support for soccer, athletics, swimming, all the usual suspects.
Yeah, all of that.
But I hear they're also embracing esports.
They are. This is where it gets interesting.
Esports, that's a pretty modern addition to a political platform.
It is. They're recognizing how popular it is,
Mm.
especially with younger generations.
Okay, so they're not just stuck in the past. No, they're looking at how things are evolving.
Mm-hmm.
And they even want to recognize esports clubs as nonprofit organizations.
Okay, so they can get some benefits and funding.
Exactly.
Okay, so a pretty modern approach to sports.
Yeah, and there's one more thing.
What's that?
They're talking about bidding for the Olympic and Paralympic Games.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
That's a huge undertaking.
it is.
Okay, so they really want to showcase Germany on the world stage.
Yeah, promote national pride,
Thinking big.
thinking big. They want Germany to be a leader in economics and technology and sports.
Wow. Okay, well, this has been fascinating,
It has.
looking at all these detailed aspects of their platform.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one big question, right? What does this all mean for the future of Germany?
That's the big one. Yeah,
That's what we'll be talking about in part 3 of this deep dive.
looking forward to it.
We'll analyze the impact of these proposals, the challenges, the compromises,
Right.
and we'll explore what kind of Germany they really envision for the future.
It'll be a good one.
So we've spent the last 2 parts really digging deep into this CDU, CSU platform, huh?
We have.
Everything from, their views on the economy to esports. Like, who knew?
It's a lot.
It's a lot, right? But, let's take a step back now. Big picture time.
Okay.
If they actually did everything they said they wanted to do,
Right.
what would Germany look like? What kind of Germany are they actually trying to build?
I think it's a Germany that's, rooted in tradition, but trying to be modern at the same time.
Yeah.
There's this appeal to nostalgia,
Yeah.
this, longing for the Germany of the past, but also recognizing that, hey, the world's changing. We got to adapt.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're walking a tightrope, right?
Yeah, it is.
Looking back and looking forward. But can they actually do it?
I mean, that's the big question, right?
Yeah.
On one hand, you've got the economic revitalization,
Right.
stricter migration policies, stronger national defense. I mean, that appeals to a certain, segment of the population.
Yeah, the people who feel like things have gone a little off track.
Exactly.
But then on the other hand, you have, like you said, esports, big investments in future tech, addressing gender disparities in healthcare.
It's a strange mix.
It's an interesting mix.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's kind of like they're trying to,
Appeal to everyone.
yeah, appeal to everybody a little bit.
Yeah.
But can they really deliver on all of it?
Well, governing is a lot harder than writing a platform, right?
Yeah, especially in Germany, where you have these multi-party systems and coalitions.
Right. You're going to have to compromise.
Yeah, they're going to have to compromise if they want to get anything done.
Absolutely.
So what they end up doing might look very different from this platform.
Probably will.
Yeah.
And I think that's something voters need to remember.
It's all about managing expectations, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
But still, it's good to look at these platforms, right?
It is.
To see what their priorities are, what they value.
It gives you a sense of where they want to go,
Yeah.
even if they don't get there exactly.
And that's what makes these deep dives so fascinating, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not just about picking apart policies. It's about trying to understand,
The big vision.
yeah, the big vision, the big picture.
Yeah.
What does the future of Germany look like to them?
Yeah, what kind of society do they want?
Yeah.
What are the values? What are the challenges?
Right, and how are they going to tackle them?
Exactly.
Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to chew on today. Any final thoughts?
I think, the CDU-CSU platform really shows that Germany's at a crossroads.
Yeah.
They're dealing with the past, they're facing an uncertain present, and they're trying to figure out, what's next.
Mm-hmm.
And the decisions that they make, they're going to be important not just for Germany,
Right.
but for Europe and maybe even the world.
Yeah, it's a reminder that politics isn't just some game.
It's about people.
It's about people.
It's about our lives.
Yeah,
It's about the kind of world we want to live in.
absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into German politics. We hope you found it insightful
And thought-provoking.
and thought-provoking. Until next time.